All right, I'm excited tonight because my friend Barb and I are here tonight. Welcome everyone who is joining us. I am super excited to be welcoming Barb. I just absolutely look forward to this every single year that we get a chance to do this interview. And then I go back and I watch the interview and I think, that was fun. That was really fun. So welcome everyone here tonight. I am so excited to have Dr. Barb O'Neill here with us. She is the founder of the amazing conference, Transform Challenging Behaviors, which is in the 4th year, coming up soon. And we're going to talk about it. Don't worry, we're going to get to it. But we've got some puppet talk to talk about. So while we wait for friends to join us, we already have some coming on in. If you are watching and you have access to a computer, tell us where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where everyone's watching from. And while everyone is gathering, I just have to tell a really funny story. So it was the 2nd annual conference and I was asked to be a guest. And so one of the things that we did, hello, Heather from Reno. One of the things that we did was to do one of these Facebook Lives. Well, that was 2 years ago. And so I didn't even know where the live button was. I knew nothing about it. All I knew is that I did not want to be have nobody watching. So I had my sister come. I had my niece come. Right. And I had one other person come who I didn't realize. I mean, they were commenting. I'm like, this is awesome. We're getting a ton of engagement, about circle time. And they'll say, oh, circle time is just so much fun for my class. And it was so relevant. So Barb and I, we finish our talk and, I close the computer and my daughter, Natia, comes in. Now she's 12 now, but at the time, well, she was 10, I guess. I can do math. And she comes in and she says, hey, Mom, how'd that live go? And I was like, yeah, it went pretty well. And, and she says to me, well, was Linda Smith there? And I said, well, yeah, matter of fact, she was, whoever the Linda Smith was. And she goes, I'm Linda Smith. She said, I'm Linda Smith. She created a Facebook account and joined the live. And she was commenting. I still love it. I didn't tell Barb. I didn't tell you for about a year and a half because
it's so sweet. It's so supportive. We were like, thank goodness for Linda Smith.
It's a little bit, but it's a little bit awkward because it means that she's resourceful, and I just hope she uses this in the right way.
Right. True.
It doesn't hack into the government or something.
Right.
All right. Well, welcome to everyone. Oh, we've got all sorts of friends. Brenda from New Jersey. Helen, hello from Canada, and Julie and Patty, all of our friends coming on in. One funny thing is if you are in the Circle Time group, I don't see your name because you have to give permission, but Heather Marsh, yes, that is what a great daughter she definitely is. Well, hey, we got to get down to business because I've told everyone that they should come tonight because you are going to help us break through this self-conscious piece of bringing puppets into the classroom and help us to recognize, hey, it's fun, it's doable, and we can all do it. So what I want to talk about first is, I guess, me and my self-conscious feelings when I began to think about bringing in a puppet. And so I wanted to, oh, hey, you talking about me? Oh, yeah, I know. I'll get to you in just a minute. Okay, I'll be over here. When I bring in a puppet, I seriously feel like a fool. I'm so embarrassed, and I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, everybody's just going to be laughing at me. But then I see kids respond, and I'm like, see, it's okay. But I still feel super self-conscious. So I guess tonight, can we just kind of help me and maybe other people out there who feel a little self-conscious about puppets and help us to recognize it's worth it? Okay. All right. Give it to us. Oh, who's that? Hi.
You want to say hello? Oh, you sure? You could say hello to them.
Hi.
Okay, so this is how I deal with my self-consciousness.
Okay.
Is I just make my puppet be shy. So that when I am starting off with a new group or in a new context, or certainly the first time I did this on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
You love Facebook Live? Yeah, we actually did a Facebook Live last night. And actually, Miniko started it without me. It was like kind of bonkers. I was like, okay, I'm getting ready. I was running late, if you can imagine. And then I came and Miniko was like on the computer. But Miniko doesn't talk a lot. She's kind of shy.
Okay.
And so in that way, you don't have to worry at first about the voice bit, right? You can just kind of use Miniko as like, the way I like it is it's kind of like maybe a shy preschooler, how they would start school.
Okay.
Okay. You want to tell them yourself? Okay. Miniko wanted me to tell you that, you know, a lot of times when she's meeting a group of kids, we do, it's a little fictionalized, okay? I don't want to say we're lying, of course, to young children, but it's a little fictionalized. We always pretend it's like her first time at school. Okay. And so that's why she's shy. And so by introducing the puppet in that way, where she just whispers, and then you can say what the puppet says, you can kind of warm yourself up in the sense that you don't have to worry about the whole bit with the voice. So that's one, I'm not saying that's the only way, but that's one way historically we've done it.
Well, and you know what's interesting, Barb, is just watching you right now. Like I'm totally into it. I really think the puppet has this whole other personality. Like I see it separate from you. So I think sometimes it's good to see someone else do it and go, okay, well, maybe it doesn't seem weird. It seems totally fun and normal.
Right?
What does Miyako think?
Well, you really can talk. It's okay. Miniko wanted you to know, Jocelyn, that she really likes you. She, in fact, is a bit of a fan. Like she'll watch you on YouTube and likes the songs and all that. She does want you to know, however, that she is separate from me. So it's not just a feeling you have. She is separate. So you're right about that. And can I explain about that a little more? Okay. So actually, this is like going to sound so weird. All right. But I went to this puppet making workshop, actually. And what they taught in that was like, you make it out of like paper. It was like a whole thing. Not really my thing. I much prefer to acquire a puppet than make one. But what they taught us towards the end of the workshop is that you ball up a little extra paper and you put it inside. And that is the brain, they told us, and it brings the puppet to life. And that's when I realized, like, they do have a life of their own. And it was kind of neat in this workshop that they gave us like a way to put that into action. But what I have found is once you start working with the puppet, it just kind of goes like, and I think some of us probably feel more comfortable with that than others, or might want to do a little more scripting. But I think if you just give it a try, you'll find like you can just, for many of us, somewhat naturally respond to what the children or the audience is saying. And they really do kind of take on a life of their own, you know, that you don't have to like have all the crafty ideas or anything.
Yeah. And actually that has helped me. Like I have a chef and like, I think the chef is separate from me. And I think what would a chef say and what would a chef do? So I'm kind of like giving it a personality. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think Miniko is looking for the chef. But I don't know that the chef is not nearby. Okay, no, we have to wait.
Cooking dinner.
Okay, makes sense. Yes, of course. Yeah, I'm sorry. I actually got a little distracted with Miniko's jumping around. Can you say that one more time?
I was just saying that just by having that chef, like I think of the chef as having a personality. Then I think of, you know, Susie is having a different personality.
Oh,
right.
You talking about me?
Yes, Susie, I was talking about you.
Okay, well, you know what I just love to do is I like to meet other friends too, like Miyako. Can I say hi to him?
Is it okay if she says hi? Okay.
Hi, Miyako. I'm Susie.
Hi, Susie. Wow, Susie, you got Miniko to
my gosh, that is so exciting. And actually, Barb, that's perfect timing because my next question is, what do you do if a child says, that's not the puppet talking, that's you talking for the puppet? What do you do?
That's such a good question. And I feel like there's that question and then the related question, like, what do you do if the children ask if the puppet is real or pretend, right?
Yeah.
So I honestly don't know that there's one right answer to those questions. So the question of, I know, or the comment that, oh, that's you talking, it doesn't matter to the children. Like, it doesn't break the magic. So what, do you want to weigh in on this? Yeah, I agree. Okay, I'll tell them. So like sometimes you can just like, especially if it's just like, Ronald is yelling it in the corner, you could just be like, yeah, you're right. Like you can just acknowledge it, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you could do it as a secret. If a bunch of them are saying it, you could say, oh, is that true? And you could even say, do you ever do that with a puppet? So I would depending on how pressing the children are about it or how many of them or the context, I might go down that road with them a little bit. Or if most of us really engaged with something else, I might, not in a rude way, but just ignore it or not go down that road. But the thing is that even when they do ask, is Miniko for real? Even if I say, oh, she's a puppet, it doesn't matter to them, or I, for this year's conference of mine, I interviewed Jamie White, who's puppet master extraordinaire. And I think she says, yes, Miniko's a real puppet, right? Like she'll real or pretend, a real puppet. Her puppet is Betsy Blackbird. But yeah, so I think with those questions, don't be afraid of them. It won't lose the allure and you can just answer it in the way that feels comfortable for you, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. Now, my next question is about allowing the children to play with this puppet. Do you let them play with the puppet or do you kind of have that be only something that you hold?
Yeah, Miniko you have strong opinions on that, right? You want to talk to them about that? No, you really, okay. Apparently Miniko will only talk to Susie.
Okay,
I'll show them. So the way I like to do it, we are feeling festive lately. Normally I use a wicker basket, honestly, but I'll have a special home that Miniko lives in, and I would keep that out of reach, right? Okay. So I would not use, I guess what I like to do is have a class puppet or a teacher puppet, it's sometimes called. So that's how I think of Miniko. And so that is the teacher's puppet, I would say, right? It's, so I wouldn't let the children play with it. Now, you could take one of your puppets that you currently have in dramatic play or in your puppet show area, and then acquire that for your, ideally maybe in the summer before you get a new class, but you could use a regular old puppet. It doesn't have to be, something fancy, but then I wouldn't let them play because that will interfere with the magic a little in my experience.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you found that as well?
Yeah, I agree. The ones that I interact with, I don't allow the children to play with, but I'll bring in other puppets because, well, I'll give them all little finger puppets, little miniature versions of it. And then if they want to make that puppet talk, they can. And then they get a chance. And I think that's a great way for them to also, have that where it's not all about them really having that something separate than me.
Oh, true.
That pretend play piece. All right. True. So I'm thinking that you have some ideas around how you might bring this puppet to Circle Time to maybe discuss a situation going on in the classroom. So could you think of maybe a scenario, a situation, I don't know, kids are being mean to each other or something, and how you might use Mieko to help teach that lesson?
Okay. No, that's a good one. Okay. Well, Miniko wanted to know if it would be okay if we start with one that's because, my topic that I am passionate about, in addition to puppets, is challenging behavior. But if we just start with one that's a little tamer first. Okay. So I love to use a puppet for basically any issues that are going on, either like I'll use it proactively as well as responsively to things that the children might be experiencing in the classroom and at home, right?
Okay.
So it's what's really nice if you want to use the puppet as a tool more for like class conflict or to deal with like big emotions or behavior, which I advocate strongly for. What's really nice is to start a little more like low key, right? Like, so to bring out maybe, oh yes, do you want to tell? No, I won't even ask. I'll share. So, one thing that happened with Miniko recently was that she has a new baby at her house.
Oh, cute.
Right? Yeah. So I might just talk about something like that, something going on in the child's life. But sometimes that could be, we sometimes feel children are regressing behaviorally when they have a new sibling, say. So it could be used to help with some behavior. But I might talk about just what, who Miniko lives with, what's her favorite toys, just kind of low key things, or else just common things that happen in the classroom. Like, and this I learned from Aiko, who was a teacher I worked with back in the 90s, and she had a puppet named Miniko, very different look. And one of the things she always used to do, and I didn't bring my prop for this, but she would bring like the basket of preschool scissors.
Okay.
And she would say, Miniko had a little problem at the art table today. She went to get one of the pairs of scissors and she almost hurt her wing because somebody had left them open.
Oh, no.
So Miniko had a request. She went to ask you all, do you have any ideas of what we could do to keep each other safe when we're using scissors?
Good.
So it's something like that where we're problem solving together, just like maybe like around how to clean up or keep each other safe or, taking your turn in the bathroom, something like that. That's just like, oh, that's a great thing to be proactive about. But it wasn't like this morning, Joshua and Jose had like a huge disagreement in the block corner, right?
Yeah.
But that would be then once you're like used to problem solving using your class puppet, you can move on to a scenario like that. Like, oh, Miniko was working in the block area today and someone came and knocked down her tower. And that made her so sad. What do you think we should do? Do you have any suggestions what Miniko could do when that happens?
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
Well, and I like that too, because I'm also realizing now I'm getting some clues about Miyako. She, I think it's a she. I'm not sure.
She, well, she mixes it up sometimes, honestly, but she's been going with she lately.
She is also their same age. So that's cool, is to start to recognize some of the characteristics. Now, for me, I'd have to remember. Sometimes I have way too many puppets.
3.5, she says. 3.5. Just, okay.
So I think that's an important piece. Because then their children are starting to relate. They're seeing those connections. They're seeing, oh, I like Miyako. I can understand. I have those feelings too. So you start to build up that trust. And I love how that can continue then to really be that connection throughout the year as more difficult scenarios come up. And they already trust Miyako. I love that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So that's more complex talk. Let's say we've got 1 and 2 year olds. How might you use puppets with them? Would you do something different with that age group? Yeah.
Well, Miniko wanted me to tell you that when I was a center director, we did get puppets for all the classrooms to do this with if they wanted to. And we found that the toddler classroom, so 1 and 2 year olds, they really found like a less sort of big and fancy and overwhelming puppet worked well. Like a smaller puppet worked good, if I remember correctly, for them. So, and I think a non-talking puppet who's more whispery, visual, maybe whispering quietly, because some of the younger children may be scared initially. Most of them probably won't, but just kind of that softer approach can sometimes work better. And then I think also like you might want to be mindful of positioning yourself so they can't reach the puppet when you're using it and or have, either, as you said, like puppets for the children to use, or like if I was using Minico, maybe I would get like some of those plastic eggs, like everybody could hold, like,
oh yeah,
you know, something related to the puppet, because that age is so sensory motor and hands-on. It's going to be potentially hard for them not to want to touch her.
Oh, exactly. Oh man, that is what I tell everyone. When you're working with toddlers and you want to keep them with you, you have to have something in their hands. And if you don't, they will go find something.
Right.
Wow, great ideas. So thank you so much. And Mieko, I want to say thank you so much for coming on and today and to talk to Susie. And I think, oh, here comes Susie.
Hey, Mieko, it was so much fun to see you today.
Yay, good to see you too, Susie.
I hope we meet again soon.
Okay. Can't wait. Bye.
You know, Barb, one more thing. I started teaching in person the last couple months, and it was so funny. What I realized is I'm wearing a mask, and all of a sudden, doing a puppet isn't so. I'm not so.
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody out there is teaching in person and you have a mask on, this might be the perfect time to get out that puppet and give it a shot.
Absolutely. You're right. This is the time. They can't see your mouth anyway. Yeah. And, you know, actually, like using your puppet to talk about, like you could put, I don't know about Minico, might not be the best one. I might have to get out no offense, Minico, but Harriet might be better suited. She has a smaller mouth. But, you know, you can get a little mask to put on your puppet, make one, cut one, and, you know, to like model some of these different sort of pandemic specific behaviors can be really nice for that.
Yeah, and one of our watchers, our attenders, whatever we call them, has this great comment. It says, "I let my students touch our puppets at the end to say goodbye, and they love this." And I totally agree. I have a monkey, and the monkey only squeaks, so it doesn't talk. But then I go around at the end, and everyone high fives them. And I've noticed that sometimes some kids will just whap it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, don't hurt it. You know, so it does help to kind of teach that kind of empathy towards others. So thank you for that comment. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. A little pet, or I've had like a monster honker where we can honk the nose at the end of circle time or something. So
yeah, exactly. Well,
Minico wants to know if you mind if she's a little tired. Do you mind if she naps, or do you have any more questions for her specifically?
No, she's good to go. Now, Barb, it's all on you.
Okay.
Bye. All right. Okay. So we have a conference coming up to talk about, and I am so excited to share with everyone who is here tonight and those who might be watching the replay. So if you're watching the replay, be sure to put #replay so I can make sure and go back and answer any comments that you have. So there is a conference coming up April 28th, and it's called Transforming Challenging Behaviors, and it is an amazing conference. And Barb, can you just tell us a little bit about the conference? Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I created the conference, as you said, Jocelyn, 4 years ago. So this will be or 3 years ago, I guess, 3.5, our fourth time doing it. And you've been a speaker at it twice, which has been wonderful. And basically, it's designed specifically to help preschool teachers, anyone teaching roughly 2 to 5, to help them with challenging behavior. And we really get at that from many different angles. So we look at, of course, like teaching social emotional skills. We look at how to keep kids engaged at circle time, which is one of the things you've helped us with historically, or transitions. And we look at trauma-informed practices. We look at the role of implicit bias in behavior-based identification, suspension, and expulsion. So it's really like something for everyone. And just depending on your specific behavioral challenges, you know, there will be different sessions that I think will speak to you. And it takes place, as you said, April 28th through May 4th. So it's 7 days, but it starts on a Wednesday, which confuses people sometimes because it doesn't start on a Sunday or Monday. And basically it's like on-demand viewing. And the way that works is every morning you get access to 3 or 4 videos, and it's on demand for you, whatever time's convenient for you, for 24 hours. And then those go away, and we give you 3 or 4 new ones the following day. So you can watch one per day. You can watch one in 7 days, or you can aspire to watch all 23 if you're very ambitious.
Yeah. And I think, you know, for me, the very first year, I know I was a guest, but I wanted to watch the other sessions.
Yeah.
And I remember at first I felt this disequilibrium feeling. I'm like, I don't know how this works. I don't get it. I signed up. Now what happens? And so if you're out there and you've not been in the conference, participating in the conference before, I've had some questions where people are like, do I have to be there? Do I need to be there at a certain time? And I think just continue to, again, confirm that, no, this is on demand. That means you work at 9 a.m. and the videos, and you're on Pacific time. Is it 9 a.m. Pacific that every day? Okay. And you work at 9. Well, do you have till 8:59 a.m. the following morning?
Yeah, right. So like if you say you're on Pacific time, like you and I, and you work at 9 a.m. and then you're like, well, Barb, that does me no good. I get your email with the link to the videos when I'm going to work. But you can, do it on your phone, on your drive home, and more listen to it. Or while you got home, you could pop it on the computer while you're, cooking or doing your dishes. But you can also get up the next morning and click that link from the day before and watch or listen to one of the videos at like 7 a.m. because they're still available, as you're saying. Yeah. So I designed it like for busy teachers. Yeah, exactly. But let's say that you love them so much. You're like, I don't want to lose access after the 24 hours. Well, I don't know. Are there any options for that? Yeah, absolutely. So, the main thing is that we have this like great time limited free experience available to everyone for the week. And then for those that do really like the videos, and maybe because, folks are usually working full time who participate, you only manage to fit in 1 or 2 or 1 a day, and you want more time, as you're saying, then you do have the option to buy an extended access package. And it's actually lifetime access. So you can do that if you want, and you can decide that once you start watching the videos. So you see if it, how much you're into it. Because some people want to do that, and some people are like, you know what, I got my video with this and this person on these times, I'm good. So it's really up to the individual. Okay, and now over in the comments, I am just putting in the link to register. So if you have not yet registered, make sure that you jump on there and click that link. It starts April 28th, right? Wednesday, April 28th, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So make sure that you figure out what that is. You can always go to the time converter, just Google time converter and plug in 9 a.m. Pacific time, and you'll be able to figure out when it is on your time. All right. So what I wanted to mention was, what about for, let's say, a school? So let's say a school director attends and she's like, oh my goodness, this is fabulous. I would love to get these to, do for our, maybe once a month at our staff meeting. Yeah. What does that package look like? Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely have a lot of folks increasingly every year who want to get what we call group access. So it's for any group of 10 or more. So it could be like a smaller childcare center or church basement preschool who wants to get it. Or we have big school districts or Head Start programs. So if you're an administrator, director, Head Start manager, someone working kind of supporting or supervising teachers, and you want to look into that, we would give you all the information about that after you register for the free experience. And you would just be looking into extended access for a group, and we have a discount, and we work with folks. What they need, a PO, they need an invoice, whatever. People have a lot of paperwork they have to do. We'll help you get it set up. So that's an option as well, for sure. And one thing I should mention on that is, because especially for programs that want to take it for their staff, this could be relevant, I think. We do have the videos are all available with, I don't know why I say it would be individual. Just strike that last thing from the record. I think this is relevant to everybody, and it just depends. Everything is available with Spanish subtitles as well on the videos. Wow. And we offer a workbook, and those are available in Spanish as well. I guess we just happen right now to be in dialogue with quite a few larger programs where they are interested in that. So that's why I was connecting that. Oh, no, that's really great to just know that if you speak Spanish, which I wish I did,
And then you would know that you would be able to totally understand. That's perfect.
Yeah, if it's better, because even some folks who are bilingual, they want to, they'll conversationally, okay, good to go with English, but for their learning, they might want to do it in Spanish. So
yeah, that's great. All right. So when do people need to be signed up by in order to jump in on April 20th?
Yeah. Well, if you're watching this video, I know Jocelyn just put the link in. I would say register now while you're thinking of it. It's very quick. It's not like registering for like your normal in-person conferences or something like that. It's just, you just put your name and email in. So it's very quick. Just go to your inbox, make sure then you got your registration confirmation. So I would say do it now is the best time if you're watching this. But if you have friends or colleagues, or for some reason you do forget, you can register at any time. Honestly, you can register right through the last day of the conference. So we do have people historically who just join us on day 7, and the only thing you will have missed most of the content, right? But so the best thing to do is to register by Tuesday, the 27th. So if you have friends, colleagues, if you're a teacher, you want to get some of the children's families to register or something like that, or your supervisees or your supervisor, they do have a little less than 2 more weeks to get in on the whole experience.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
The last question I have is the question I get asked a lot. Can they get credit?
Right.
Credit.
We do get that question a lot as well. So the learning is for everybody during that period, whether they want credit or not, right? And if you do want credit, then you would need to decide to invest in a conference package. And you can do that for a small fee. The only thing to know about that is, of course, I would love for you to invest in an extended access package. But in terms of if you're doing it, not for extended access, but for the certificates, just check with whoever you'll submit the certificate to make sure they will accept it. Because it just, in the US, for example, it varies state to state. I know we had someone on who's from Canada when I was doing my Facebook Live yesterday. I don't know if you're in the same province, but that person said, oh, I'm in Canada and it counted for me. So folks just need to check that to make sure that a certificate will count for them in there.
Okay. So just to clarify, you can only get the certificates if you buy one of the packages.
True. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Just and also, and I think what's great about it is just remembering that, yeah, absolutely. We need to get these credits and it's important to get those done throughout the year, but also just the knowledge, whether your state is one of those that allows you to or not, it's just the amazing amount of knowledge that you'll walk away with. And Barb, what I love about this conference is I feel like we are so bombarded with academic ideas. What can you do in the sensory bin? What stories are you going to read? Let's get kids reading and writing. And this really goes a step down. And I'm always thinking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And this social and emotional piece, very little of it, for me at least, was talked about when I was going to college. So this sort of really great information that's brought by people in the trenches is just invaluable. And I just want to say thank you on the behalf of all of my people who are watching today. Thank you for that idea that you got, 4 years ago. I know somebody maybe thought it was a crazy idea, but I think it was genius.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Yeah, it's super fun. And we'll help you to have the tools so that you can teach those academic skills that teachers are having so much pressure to teach these days. And we address that in some of the sessions, but I agree with you. Like, if we can help children learn to self-regulate, express their emotions and their wants and needs, and if we have the tools to de-escalate a tantrum or help them when they're using aggression, that's what's really going to set them up for lifetime success. Even though I know teachers feel pressure to get them to write their names, for example, but until you get that behavior piece worked out with those children, when, we're not, a lot of times you can't even teach them to write their names, and it's not going to send them off, well, unless they have the social emotional tools, as you're saying, the real foundation.
Absolutely.
And that's really what like preschool was designed to teach, in my view, right? Like,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's like putting the cart before the horse. And I think it's just a reconfirmation to everyone out there who attends that, hey, you're not doing anything wrong. The fact that this child's having a meltdown and doesn't want to, sit there and write their name. they're not doing anything wrong. So thank you so much for bringing those resources.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Anything else that you want to add before we bid adieu?
Well, this was so much fun, Jocelyn. Thank you so much for inviting me. I guess the only thing I would say, because I realized I didn't mention it, is that, we do, if you are interested specifically in puppets, we have definitely some resources for you at the conference. We have that session with Jamie White, where we're really delving deep for an hour into using puppets. And she has experience both using her puppet, Betsy, virtually and in person. And then we also have a session on social emotional development with Dylan Basso, who's actually a pre-K teacher in the Seattle public schools.
Oh.
So up in your neck of the woods there, Jocelyn. And he's going to be showing us how to use a puppet also. Great. So that's like a little extra. And then we also relatedly, in some ways, we have a session on persona dolls. And full disclosure, the persona dolls people in general, not just the speakers this year, they're very intentional to point out persona dolls and puppets are not the same thing.
Okay.
And they're not. They're really originally a tool for anti-bias education, and they look like actual, children, more like Susie than Miniko, let's say.
Okay.
However, you can take some tips from that session and apply it to your use of puppets. So again, I don't want to conflate them, but we have a lot for folks who are interested in puppets, I think, to draw on at the conference this year.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, I am looking forward to attending, and I know that so many of my people who are watching tonight are excited as well.
Yay.
So thank you again. And again, those of you who have not registered, the link is there in the comments. Be sure to click on it. Get registered as soon as you can, so you'll be the first to find out when those go live on April 28th.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jocelyn, and so good to be here with you all.
Great.
Oh, hey, I want to say goodbye too.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Susie, want to say
goodbye. Bye. It was so fun to see you. And everyone else out there, goodbye.
Oh,
bye.
Okay, sorry. She gets a little excited.
It's okay. We like it.
Yay. All right. Well, friends, have a wonderful rest of your night, and we will see you all soon.
Bye.
All right. Bye, Barb.